Morning, everybody. It was eventful night. A lot of things. Goals being set. So, uh, welcome to this morning. Let me just, touch up a little bit. Yeah. All right. So, so this morning we're looking at the opposite of what we looked at last night. Well, yesterday morning. We we looked yesterday at pH. Right, we look at lowering your pH within the aquarium space. pH is something that a lot of persons just ignore being a fish keeper. Especially in Jamaica. The whole idea of keeping fish is just like throwing fish in a glass box with a filter, changing water, feeding fish, probably do some decoration, but not necessarily you know, looking at the pH. All right. So today we're gonna be looking at actually increasing the pH within your aquarium. So let's start. All right. So first, I'd like to thank you for stopping by the stream. Thank you for the support. Uh, if you have not yet hit that uh, Jamaican flag, I ask you to do so. Remember to leave a comment, a respectful comment in the comment section below as we go along and we share in this morning stream. I'm here on my boy Raleigh from 6 to 7. Okay, it's Jamaica time, 6 a.m. Everyone is getting ready to go to work. Now, it is important for us to remember that pH of your tank impacts on several aspects of your water quality and chemistry. For example, if the pH actually drops below 6.0, I call it the nitrification bacteria that keep your ammonia and your nitrite the toxic compound to your fish at 0 ppm, it will begin to die off. So practically, if your water become too acidic, falling pH falling below 6.0, the bacteria, the I call it beneficial bacteria within your aquarium will start to die off. Right? We should remember that. Okay, this can cause your tank to practically the aquatic creatures within the tank to actually die. The recycling, the whole process, it will just not be good. The toxicity of the ammonia is always largely detected by your pH. So I discovered during my little research for this presentation, my little prep work for this stream, there is also a measurement called KH. Now, a KH level is a measurement of carbonate hardness of your water. In other words, it measures the concentration of carbonate and bicarbonate ions in your aquarium. Now, KH also indicates your water's buffering capacity. Now, your water ability to neutralize added acids without significantly charging, or should I say changing the pH. Therefore, higher KH corresponds to what you call a more stable pH in your aquarium, and a lower pH KH can correspond to a large swing in the pH, right, which of course can be detrimental to your fish. All right. So in continuing looking at how you actually increase your pH within your aquarium. All right. Therefore, it's still looking at KH, right? The KH and the KH is a determinant to the pH, right? If your KH is below 4.5, you need to closely monitor your pH, right? Generally, if your KH is below, you will also need to be consistent in your water change, as KH will cause your pH within your aquarium to constantly drop. I know that fish can survive in well, most fish can survive in acidic base water parameters. No, we call it, oh yeah, water chemistry, water parameters, right? Okay, so yesterday we looked at pH, and we underlined three categories. Three categories of pH that exist out there in water. We have alkaline, neutral, and acidic, right? And it was established that most fish love between 6.9 to about call it 8.2. They're okay with that, although 8.2 is like mostly for emboma cichlid. No, right, cool, mostly for that, right? Now, the interesting water pH came about with the share of a video on Monday, where I actually shared the placing of some huge rocks that I got from my yard in my pond. And Derek from Deadford 821 actually asks how I'm gonna go about buffering the water. Now, yesterday I shared in that video, well, in that stream, ways 10 ways in which I might choose as an option to buffer the water. That means to actually lower the pH within my aquarium or within my pond, within the fish pH, within that thought, within itself, right? I laid them out. I laid out all 10 and I went through them. Now, this thought is expected to keep and breed my emboma cichlid for a while. I have even gone out and I've gotten some plants to place on the top, and it has a filtration system, rock work, water is there, it's underneath the tree, and it should be okay, right? I know that this type of fish likes we call it water that has a pH between 8.2 and 8.5, because based on research, and also bearing in mind that this type of fish is found in rocky landscape, right? So with rocky landscape, you normally find the water itself having a lot of minerals in it. Having a lot of minerals in it, that means it's gonna actually increase its pH, making it a little bit alkaline after a while. If not, the water is running, running off at a certain pace. Now, I share with you yesterday 10 simple ways. Now, today I'm gonna share with you possible ways you can actually do the reverse. That means you actually increase the pH within your aquarium. Before I continue, I would like to look at what is meant by pH, because probably that was not really underlined yesterday in the stream. Right? No, pH is a measure of relative amount of hydrogen or hydroxyl ions in the water. Also, that give me a sec. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so pH is about the measurement of the amount of hydrogen and hydroxyl ions in water. It also that pH yeah, so practical, that is a pH. That is what you talk about when you talk about pH, right? Talk about hydrogen, right? Also, it's important for us to know that pH within your tank will depend on the species of fish that you keep. When you're actually designing your perfect aquarium, your job is to recreate the natural environment as best as possible, right? To the T, so as to ensure that the fish remains healthy, colorful, active, and growth is there and all that. You don't want the process of them being within your space to be complicated. When you choose to have a community tank, it can be complicated, yeah. Because especially when you have for those novice and newbies who normally um novice and newbies who normally like get aquarium fish and then just place in one of those glass box and then just start to keep fish. They'll get a fish from the tropics, a fish from South America, fish from Africa, and they will just put them together, because they say that they look pretty everything together. But that's not a good thing to do, because it depends on the region in which the fish is from. The whole pH thing might actually show your fish a health issue, right? So you have to watch that when you talk about your pH. All right, so I've not yet started on the lowering thing, right? I know. So let's ask the question: why do you think water pH increases, especially within our aquariums? And I say, or I mean, yeah, I do keep aquariums, as you can see behind me, right? I have some amount of aquariums. Whilst they might not look all that eventful, but they have their purpose. Now, you see, water dissolves some of every gas or solid it contacts, right? And some of these dissolved substances affects the water pH. No, the gases produced by plant litter, dead fish, aquarium substrate, along with fish waste impacts on the water chemistry of your aquarium. Now, bicarbonate and carbonate are negatively charged ions, right? Common in most waters. Now, these basic ions are derived from dissolution, or call it now, the dissolution of limestone, and they increase the pH of water. Now, adjusting aquarium pH is so adjusting water pH is a practical means of actually getting your aquarium pH either upwards or downwards, right? Because you have circumstances where you would need to actually lower your pH, like what I shared with you yesterday, and you have circumstances in which you actually increase your pH, like what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So let's delve into how you can actually increase your pH within your aquarium. So let's look at aquarium plants. Now, aquarium plants can alter aquarium pH, right? Either raising or lowering the pH level under direct circumstances. Now, when pH lowers, right, water becomes more acidic, right? When it rises, water becomes more basic or alkaline. Now, plants change water pH through several mechanisms, right? Given enough light and carbon dioxide, plant absorb carbon dioxide and produces what you call oxygen. Now, carbon dioxide will lower the pH of the aquarium water, making it more acidic, right? While oxygen has no effect on water pH, therefore, plant absorb carbon dioxide, thus removing it from the water. The pH will rise, right? So plants within itself can be used so as to either it depends on how you use the plants, how you actually maintain, and how you use the plants within the aquarium. It can actually rise the pH, and it can even lower the pH, right? And yesterday I shared that you can for planted aquariums you can actually add CO2, right? Add excess CO2 to your aquarium so as to lower the pH within your aquarium. And this is primarily for planted aquariums. All right. So using baking soda. Baking soda is used. Uh, baking soda is used, right? To actually, I call it now, increase your aquarium pH. The addition of baking soda in your aquarium can increase your the pH in your water, making the water more alkaline base. Now, listen, you should be careful, however, about the measurement of the baking soda per gallon of aquarium. No. As I have researched yesterday, because I did extensive reading. I mean, like a couple hours well, reading on this topic. It's been suggested that you use a teaspoon. So it is 1 teaspoon of baking soda per 5 gallon, right? If you want to actually increase the pH within your aquarium. 1 teaspoon of baking soda per 5 gallon is generally considered a safe amount for small incremental increases. It is best to remove the fish from the tank prior to rising the pH, however, or you do it very, very slowly. A sudden bump in the pH can cause the fish to actually get ill, affects its health, its mobility, and the fish might die. So you have to be very careful when manipulating the pH within your aquarium space, right? Yesterday I shared that one show we are flowing your aquarium water pH is the decrease in the amount of airflow in your aquarium water, right? And I share with you that I love the idea of actually installing what you call valves. You know, you have some little valves, some little control valves, or you can actually install right after you put on the air hose. You like put on a valve, or should I say, you put on the valve. You know, you cut the hose, you put the valve on, so it's like a lock off. It turns, and it actually can control the flow of air within your aquarium, right? So the opposite will actually work when trying to increase your pH within your aquarium water. You would actually increase the flow of oxygen in the aquarium by actually turning that valve, if you actually have that system in place, right? And you'll find that the pH will actually go up. Now, how does this work? By exposing your aquarium water to air, agitating the surface, you are causing a gas exchange at the surface of the water, right? Now, oxygen goes from the air to the water, while carbon dioxide goes from the water to the air. Now, this exchange reduces the amount of carbon dioxide in your water and causes your pH to rise. Now, carbon dioxide brings down pH, and that's the reason why yesterday I said that you increase the amount of CO2 within the aquarium if you want to actually bring down the pH. Now, because you want to bring it up, you will actually increase the airflow, which actually do the reverse. So an additional way to rise your pH is to aerate the water vigorously with an air stone. You know that cichlids, some cichlids would like that, right? And a cichlid buffer in which you could probably get at the pet store. Would be like about, well, not really get at the twist. I mean, a cichlid buffer that ensure that the pH, ensure that the pH remains at about 8.2, 8.3, and strong aeration can maintain alkaline pH of between anywhere between 7.1 and 8.2, right? Okay, and that would be good. All right, so I've looked at 3 ways in which you can actually increase your pH. 1 with plants, 2 with baking soda, and 3 with actually aeration of your water, vigorous aeration of your water. This should help you to actually increase the pH within your system. All right. I'm not sure I'm gonna go for the entire 60 minutes this morning. So I am just gonna share with you increase your pH, and I'm gonna be leaving probably before the 60 minutes is up. All right. Okay. So let's go to number 4. Now, some of us do have what you call substrate within our aquarium systems, and some persons like bare bottom aquariums because they just like that settings. Some persons have substrate. Now, the best choice of substrate would for lowering your aquarium pH would be crushed corals, right? And yeah, crushed corals and shells, right? These are common in African cichlids, which are known to have a higher pH than most. Now, check the pH regularly. You don't want to mess up the fish, right? Because it can actually adding these little things within it, it can actually mess around with the pH to the great extent that it actually goes beyond the recommended pH level for the specific fish that you have within the aquarium. Now, if you want to hide these materials, what you could do, you could actually place them into your aquarium filter, right? Placing these in your aquarium filter, you can actually hide it, and at the same time, it will help to increase your your water pH. Now, another way in which you can actually increase your water pH is to remove, well, it's two ways in one. Two ways in one. So it's like 5 and 6, right? Okay. Another way in which you can actually increase your what I call it now, your pH, right, is to actually remove any articles or any decoration or anything that you might have within the aquarium that might be causing the pH to decrease, such as if you have almond leaves, such as some plant litter, such as even driftwood, right? So you just remove it totally from, right? Okay. Yesterday I spoke about driftwood, and driftwood can be used to actually I call it lower the pH within the aquarium, because driftwood have what you call tannic acid, and the tannic acid actually lowers pH within the aquarium. All right. Now, if you remove that, right, you will find that your pH will actually increase. If you want to have the and this is where the other one comes in, but it's still related to the whole idea of driftwood. If you want your driftwood to actually remain in your aquarium, what you could do, you could actually remove the driftwood, boil it, right? That way you'd actually stabilize the tannic acids within it, right? Boil it, and then you actually place it back into the aquarium. You find that the whole idea of tannins being released within the aquarium will cease. So therefore, you will be able to keep your driftwood, and your pH will actually increase. And this is a very creative way. The thing is that sometimes you might not find a container to actually put that big piece of lumber or stick in it, so as to get the tannic acid stabilized within the wood, so as to prevent it from actually being leached out into the aquarium space. Okay, with all that has been said with regards to pH being up and down, one of the primary, or should I say, one of the most common idea between lowering and increasing pH is water change, right? But this water change for increase in your pH is a little bit different. You see, your aquarium pH might have a low, well, your aquarium water might have a low pH, right? But your tap water, when you test your tap water, you might find that your tap water actually have a higher pH. So what you do, you get a dechlorinator and you add the tap water to your aquarium using a dechlorinator. That way, the water will actually the new water. You do water change. The new water that you're adding will actually aid in the increasing of your aquarium pH. And this is a really creative idea, right? So you could try that. Use it in tap water because depending on where you're at, depending on whether or not you have well water, depending on whether or not you have the same system like I do. What I have a storage tank on the top of my house, and that water is left there for a couple of days before it's used. I do not use the chlorinator, and I just do a lot of water changes, and I just use that water. But if you find that you have a specific type of fish that requires um, a high pH, and you want to increase the pH level within your aquarium, well, go ahead, right? Buy that dechlorinator, ensure that you use the correct measurement on the dechlorinator to actually get the water fish safe, and the water itself, because it is the pH is up, it's alkaline based. The dechlorinator will not affect um the the pH within the tap water. What it will do is it will just attack, or should I say, it will just neutralize the chlorine that exists within the tap water, making the tap water actually safe, right? So that is a process that you probably could try, right? All right, and this actually boils down to another this also boils down to another approach that persons might use in increasing their pH. I have been to a garden store and I've seen where in which they are presently selling products that either increase your pH or decrease your pH, because garden store, it depends on the plant that you have. Some plants requires a specific type of pH, while others requires a specific type of pH. So they have the chemicals that they actually use so as to manage the pH level within water space, aquatic space, right? Now you have companies like API and others that has chemicals that you can use using precise measurement. You can use calculated effort in tipping some of these chemicals within your water space, which will practically increase the alkalinity, or should I say, increase the pH, making your water a little bit more I call it now, a little bit more endowed with with minerals, right, and less acidic, right? So you can use chemicals, but I am not the one that would jump to the whole idea of using chemical products for the increase or the decrease in pH, right? I prefer to use natural means. For example, I would use the peat moss for the lowering. I would use the whole idea of boiling the driftwood. I would use the whole idea of water change. I would use the whole idea of trying to remove any thing that might be there that might be lowering the pH. I would probably go the route of using crushed corals and limestone. No, adding the shells, adding the shells and the limestone rocks is another way. Although you could say, I mentioned about the substrate. You're having specific type of substrate. Limestone could be placed there, but I just chose to put it by itself. Now adding limestone rock, Now, limestone rock is significant in aquatic life, in that it actually raises the pH level within the space, water space in which it exists. Now, if you are not careful, you will end up make the water a little bit more alkaline than is recommended. So you have to be very careful with that. But if you are one like me who does a frequent water change, one like me who actually pay attention to the details. Sometimes I will just take out the rocks, wash them off, and place them back in. I'll do water change. I take out everything. I wash the entire container, and then I'll do I just change everything within that water space, because I do not want any residue from the rock to be lingering within the pond, thus causing any imbalance within the pH or within the fish, how should I say, works, right? The structure. So therefore, I try to do that. Now, shell and limestone uh tend to have minerals. So whenever water actually combines with them, these minerals are normally leached into the water, thus increasing the alkalinity within the water. Thus the pH will actually raise. Right now, the pH is the higher the pH is, the more what I call it now, alkaline the water becomes. The more alkaline the water becomes, the more salty it tastes. Reason why it tastes salty is because there's a lot of minerals in the water, right? Some fish, as I said yesterday, some fish love this type of environment. Some fish likes high mineral content water, right? For example, African cichlids, emboma, right? They are fish that exist within the natural habitat that has a lot of rockscape, because water reacts with rocks, whether it be slow or fast, but water reacts with rocks. So after a while, depending on where the fish is located, the water might taste a little bit salty. Now in Jamaica, I live in Clarendon, and because Clarendon is well, Jamaica itself, as I said yesterday, is about 70-75% limestone, right? And it depends on the type of river. It depends on the river that you actually go. Whenever you do get a swim in that water, you will taste the water, taste a little alkalinish, a little saltish, because the whole the channel is actually based on alkaline rock. So as a result of that, the alkalinity within the water space is actually high. So fish like my gambosa, or how I call river fish, or how I call mosquito fish in Jamaica. Also, some cichlids that I have. I have seen jaguar cichlids within my local rivers, and I have seen some some although they say that they don't like high alkaline based water, they prefer probably about six or something like that. That's plecos. um I have seen some of those in my local rivers, but they are not at they normally not at the, like, the mouth section of the river, or not at the section of the rivers that are considered to be salty. They are normally like in the midstream and the upper stream where the river flow is strong. Right, that's where the plecos, the common plecos, are found in Jamaica, right? As you know, if you have been doing your research, catfish, shrimp, invertebrates, they do not like uh, high alkalinity in their water. They don't like high mineral water, right? So if you put salt in water with invertebrates, you probably might lose them, right? They might die. Right, so you have to be mindful of that. But cichlids like chromide, African cichlids, they will actually thrive in that. Also, molly, live bearers, guppies, swordtail, they like water that has a little alkalinity in it. All right, I said that I wasn't going to go too long. Let me wrap up. So these are all that I could find as far as increasing your pH within your aquarium, right? I try to find more ways in which you could increase your pH within your aquarium, but I could not, right? I seen that I found more ways in which you can lower your pH within your aquarium than ways in which you can actually increase it, right? Give or take, there are more persons trying to increase the pH. You know that black water is like water with aquarium water with like low pH, right? Because it borders, well, yeah, more like I would say low pH, because it have almond leaves in it. It have driftwood, and it have some other little stuff in it that makes the water black, the tannins, everything that actually lowers the pH. So black water is like cichlids. Some cichlids will not survive in a black water aquarium, while some might thrive in it, but some will not. Right? So we have to be careful as fish keepers. The type of system that we actually place our fish in, because our fish depend on us now, since we have it in our care. It depends on us now to ensure that it is kept safe. Now, as I said before, I really try to get more information on pH, and that's just what I found. Now, everyone experiences a few setbacks while caring for the fish, right? Some people must deal with fish disease. Others must separate aggressive tank mates, right? One of the reasons why some fish are actually aggressive, or some persons might say, some persons are, some fish are mad, right? Let me tell you this joke. So you have this fish, right? This fish is doing okay, and like after a while you realize that this fish just starts to act crazy, as if it has a mental condition, biting at everything, everyone, tearing up everything, digging holes in everything, trashing a lot, right? But it's not sick, it doesn't have any evidence of any infection, any parasitic infection or any disease. It's just start behaving crazy. Sometimes when your fish start behaving like this, I think it's more like the aquarium, the water chemistry needs to be checked. So you need to like probably do a little bit more frequent water change to see if probably the pH, the chemical, should I say, the chemistry of the water has has affected the mental capacity of the fish to actually behave as how it does, right? So as fish keepers, we have to pay keen attention to the fine details to ensure that our aquarium, aquatic pets are healthy and behave as how they should, right? As best as possible, we should try to mimic the aquatic, what should I say, aquatic creatures, yeah, aquatic creatures, natural habitat, having them actually living in an environment that, um, to a great extent, um, reminds them, or should I say, kind of imitate, as I said before, their natural environment. For example, if you have embone and cichlid, you will get a lot of rock work, right? Also, peacocks, you will have some amount of caves. If you have, let's say, some life bearers, you have a lot of plants. Koi and goldfish and carp, you'll have large spaces, right? And gold filtration system. So we have to pay attention to the finer details in our fish keeping hobby, so as to ensure that the fish doesn't only live for the next day, but also live healthy, strong, and is practically sane. Now, I would throw this question to um probably some vets out there, whether or not a fish can become mentally disturbed, right? Some persons might become depressed, and as a result of that, they show some mental issues. Humans, I know that fish do come depressed and stressed. So I was just wondering, since some things are like common between animals and ourselves in the sense of how we think, having stress and depression, but it affects us mentally. Yeah, frustration. Yeah, mentally. Whether or not fish do experience mental problems. That is something that is worth reading upon. That is something that is worth researching. Okay, I believe in the next, probably the next 5 minutes. Now, if you happen to have trouble with pH within your aquarium, right? You should do your research. You should look about it. Whether increasing the pH within your aquarium or decreasing your pH in the aquarium, it requires precision. The best way to ensure that your aquarium fish is kept at the right pH is by doing your research and having a test kit, right? Sometimes just looking at the parameters, or should I say, just looking at the aquarium, you will think that everything is okay, but everything is not okay, right? You will have to check the water parameters by using a test kit. No, test kits are sold at plant shops. Test kits are sold at some pet shops. You have different type of test kits that you can use. You have test kit with test kit strips. You have the one in which you actually place a little bit of the water in a little tube, and you tip a little chemical in it, and you test to see the color, and the color will tell you the alkalinity or the acidity, or whether or not the pH, to be frank, it will tell you the pH of the water, right? So you need to check that, and in checking that, you will ensure that your fish is kept healthy. Remember, whenever the pH within your aquarium is out of whack, it can affect your fish behavior. It can affect your fish breeding, breeding function. So you might find that your fish doesn't breed, or if your fish do breed, you have a lot of let's say it lays a lot of eggs, but you find that you only have about 3 or 4 of those eggs actually coming to fruition, meaning that those only three out of a batch of like 500 eggs, you only have like probably about 10 fries out of that batch. It could be the pH within your aquarium or your plant space that is messing around with it, right? Also, I discovered a few months ago that your aquarium pH can affect the color of your fish. Now, sometimes you don't realize the beauty of your fish design, the outer, the scale, the colors, until you do some extensive work on your aquarium. Probably you change the water. You might add a little salt. You might add a little limestone. You might change the substrate. You might do a little thing, and you realize that when you put in the light within the aquarium, right, and you're actually observing your fish, you realize that you see a little pink stripe at the side, or you see a little blue stripe, or a green stripe, or you see some colors on the fish, right? This just points to the fact that you never noticed it before, because practically the pH within the water was not at the right at the right point. Thus, the colors were actually being overshadowed by incorrect pH within your aquarium. This is how pH actually works within a given aquarium space, right? If you don't actually pay attention to that, you will end up mess up big time. Okay, so that is practically it. In closing, it is important that the pH matches the preference of your fish, but it's also important that your pH remains stable. Now, I said this earlier on, and probably some persons might not be listening. But whenever you're adjusting the pH for your aquarium, alright, it is important that you do it slowly. regardless of the fish preference of let's say emboma cichlid, mouth brooder, prefer high alkalinity in water parameters. I mean like 7.9, 8.1 is like good for those fish. And at first when they bought the fish, the parameters was like neutral, right at the middle there, probably even 6.9, and suddenly you add some salt to the water, right? Oh yeah, I never remember. The one another way in which you can probably boost up the alkalinity within the water is by doing the common old thing, by adding salt, adding aquarium salt, right? But of course, you would actually use the correct procedure. It's 1 teaspoon of rock salt. Well, I use rock salt, so I know about the rock salt, how it is measured. It's 1 teaspoon of rock salt for every, I think it's every 10 gallon of water, right? So I use rock salt. Some persons use aquarium salt, but this is one of the faster way of increasing your pH. Because remember, pH deals with alkalinity. Alkalinity focuses on, well, alkalinity is like um it's about mineral, the existence of minerals within the water, right? So the high concentration of minerals in the water will make the water taste a little bit salty for those persons who understand what I mean. Like when you go to the river and you're swimming and the water does taste like, some people say the water tastes like rock, right? Or the water tastes salty, but it's not as salty as the water that you would swim in when you go to the beach, right? We must be mindful that we should not include beach sand within our aquarium, right? We should not include beach sand in our aquarium. We should have river sand. River sand, um, best in comparison to um beach sand, right? I don't have all the details here with me, but that is what I know and I've practiced over the years. The use of beach sand is a no go, right? Um, so some persons might ask whether or not some of these strategies used to increase or decrease aquarium pH, whether or not these strategies might impact on the structure of the aquarium. For example, vinegar. No. Vinegar, lemon, tannic acid from the driftwood, API, or the other chemicals that persons use, whether or not it will affect the silicone that actually builds the aquarium. And the answer is no, not really. What I do know, what I do know is that it depends on the method, the direction that you take in actually increasing or decreasing your pH. It might have implication on your aquarium plants. So before you actually consider increasing or decreasing your aquarium pH, you have to consider several variables. These variables include whether or not your aquarium have invertebrates, whether or not your aquarium have plants, right? Whether or not your aquarium have newly laid aquarium fish eggs, right? So the implication for these situation might be different, in the sense that it might just impact on the health of the fries that are not yet hatched, or it might end up damaging, or should I say destroying, obliterate, if there is such a word, yes, your planting, your plants within your aquarium space, right? Okay, so you can reach me at Fish Keeping Jamaica on Instagram. You can also reach me as Raleigh World. Gmail. And you can also reach me by just leaving a comment in the comment section below. I try my very best to respond to all comments that are made on my on my channel. Right? I appreciate all the support I have been getting for my channel. It has been awesome. I appreciate it. I never plan to actually go so long. I plan to actually stay for only 30 minutes because I'm feeling really sleepy. Right. So for the past 2 days I've been looking at pH, and I think I've actually shared a lot. Yes, if I had graphics and if I had, demonstration in certain things, probably it would be catching to some person's eye and they would probably be more attentive to the presentation. However, sometimes the raw information is of greater value than distraction in demonstration. So I just take that route for this morning. Oh, yesterday I did, well, last night I did an impromptu video where in which I shared with you some information in which I thought that is a, it was prudent for me to share with regards to YouTube stepping forward in 2021, right? There are some things that we need to remember as YouTube creators, for those persons who are YouTube creators. We need to remember so as to ensure that we continue to grow and we continue to grow in the light that is prescribed by YouTube regulation, terms and conditions. Alright, so I believe in you now. I have 8 minutes left, but I believe in you. I'll be getting a little bit more nappy. No, I'll be getting my morning walk. Right. Thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Catch you next time. Tomorrow morning, same time, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time. New topic. Uh, I tell you that topic tomorrow. And probably you might see uh, um live posting tonight, where which I no and I say live posting, I mean like telling you to set your reminder. I might do that, right? I'm reconsidering whether or not I should go live for the entire month of January because it's really having a toll on me. Have to get up in the mornings, prepare for stream, work, all of that. It's really, it's a lot of work. Right. Anyway, Saturday nights, the Saturday nights are my nights. So I'll be up Saturday night live stream here, giving you all of Raleigh in discussion. And my channel is about fish keeping. So channel your questions. Probably I might do a Q&A with regards to fish keeping in Jamaica. Right. So let me know some possible topics that you would like for me to share in the coming days. Not that I'm out of topic, and I have a lot of topics, but it's just that I don't want to bore you, right? Right now, I'm going through all of that, right? Have a wonderful day. Remember to check out the list of shares that I have done below. Also, there are some channels that I follow closely. I realized lately that I have not been getting notification from the channels I am subscribed to. The way in which I actually go about knowing whether or not some persons have actually released videos is by just typing in YouTube, and when I go on that page, I will see, like say, Deadfed 821 new video or whatever, but I don't get notification recently. I don't know what's the problem. I don't know if it's if I don't know. So if I am not on your channel watching your video, it's because I have not gotten any notification letting me know that something like that is there. Right. So if you make a comment on my channel, I will stop by your channel to see if you have any recent postings. That's like normally a key to tell you the truth. Right. But I do not visit individual channel just for them to visit my channel. I want you to look at my channel because you want to look at my channel, not because I want a favor in return, right? So if you're not interested in my channel, no problem, no biggie. I appreciate your honesty. And such is life. I'm not interested in everything, neither. There are some channels that I just not interested, at least not interested anymore. Right? So I'm babbling. 5 minutes to 7. I need to get my morning walk. Thank you very much. Catch you next time.